David Moyes, Everton manager. How did it feel to hear that again?
Absolutely brilliant. I love the thought of it, and in many ways, I've always not dreamt of it, but always thought that maybe I'd be lucky enough to get the opportunity to come back. I had an unbelievable time here before, 11 years, which was exceptional. I was really fortunate that I worked under great people. I had hugely amount of great players with great character and loved the club. So I could talk and talk about it, to be honest, but I'm thrilled to be back. I've got to say I'm honestly disappointed that Sean's left, because I'm a big supporter of managers, but now that he's gone, I'm happy to step in.
You mentioned those 11 years. I mean, it's clear what this club means to you. So just how special is it to wear that badge again and be at Everton?
Uh, it's so big, since I joined, I was a young coach, and my family were here at the games all the time, and so Everton means so much to us. It really does, and they're all really looking forward to being back and part of it as well. But I'm probably coming back to a completely different Everton from the one I left here a long time ago, and it would be great if we could get it back in the same condition. And everybody who works in the building and has been here the time before understands exactly what we mean, with a great feeling around the training ground. We with a great togetherness, whether we were out together or working together. So trying to get that back, I hope I can get that back. I don't know if I can get it back quickly. I don't know if it's going to take me a bit longer. But the one thing I do know is that I'm back at a club which I'm really fond of, and want to be successful, and I want the club to be successful.
You say about how fond you are of the club, your success you've had elsewhere, in the interviews you've always done in the decade away, you've always seen that there's still so much affection from you for Everton Football Club.
Yeah, like everybody knows that you can't work here and build what we've done over 11 and a half years. I got an incredible reception when I left, which was brilliant. And I left at the time where I thought, look, I've been here 11 and a half years, I don't want to overstay my welcome. And, my career's gone up and down, like it can happen for lots of football managers. But I hope I come back here a bit wiser, obviously a bit older, and hopefully come back with knowledge and experience, which I can sort of pass on to the players and everybody around here and everybody at the club. The really only prime thing is that we get ourselves sorted just now and get ourselves in a good position. We can have all the fancy plans we want, but let's be fair, we're probably not quite in that position to do that yet. But we do have to look to see what's going to go on in the future, and I'm here, and I'm here, and I'm going to try and put as much things right as I possibly can. The first thing I've got to try and put right is that we get results to make sure that we're getting into our new stadium, certainly as a Premier League team.
Because it's not just the emotional pull of coming back, is it? I mean, Leighton Baines said after our game on Thursday night that that there's hope for the future now, as you mentioned, the new stadium, the new owners. So that must have been a massive draw for you to come back at this time as well.
Well, I have to say, now I've been looking from a distance and looking in at Everton and the troubles, with the financial situation, and I say it in the great job that Sean done to ride those difficult times. But I now think that we hope that we're seeing clearer blue skies in the distance, and we've all got to sort of get on board together and head towards it. So I'm not saying that everything's going to be okay. I'm sure there'll still be some problems we have to solve. Evertonians have been used to that over the last 2 or 3 years, but I generally feel as if there's better things ahead, and we've got to look forward now and hope that we can plan for a better future.
You regularly hear about the importance of people, staff, players, managers getting Everton. There's few people who get Everton more than you. So how important do you think that is going to be, just to get started very quickly?
Yeah, well, look, I know the support base. I know what they want, but we need to start challenging again. Like I take real pride in if you look at our league position when we finished here, and the teams were finishing above, and we were challenging for Europe regular. We probably just didn't have the finance at that time to really make another step. The plan is for me just to try and get us the wins at the moment to make sure first and foremost we're a Premier League team.
before we move to our new stadium, it's back at a stadium that you've had many special memories. What will it mean to you be back at the Grand Old Lady and under the lights as well for your first game?
Well, let me tell you, if you'd said to me that you were going to manage again at Goodison, I said, well, I don't see that coming. You know, this has happened really quickly. I was invited back. They'd said, look, why don't you come back to watch a game at Goodison before the end? And I was really looking forward to bringing my dad down. We were going to come and watch one of the games before the end of the season. And now I find myself taking the team. So it's many ways, maybe it was meant to be, who knows. I would always like to think that going into a new stadium, you know, what it will mean to Evertonians who for so many years have been looking for it. You know, even when I first came, they were saying, no, we were looking at areas for new stadiums and what was going to happen. Just like we were looking for a new training ground. I remember the first day I arrived in, they said, would you come down to this place called Finch Farm? It was a strawberry fields. And I said, well, I don't know where I'm going. I don't know. And they took me down and looked here, and where we're sitting today was obviously just a bunch of strawberry fields. And now we've got a fabulous training ground. So it was a bit coincidental. I'm just turning up, coming back to Goodison hopefully for the last few games, and it looks like we're maybe going to head into a new stadium, everything going well in the Premier League. So I'm excited about that, and I think every Evertonian should be, because it's been something which was been wanted. But what I know they want more than anything is a team, is performances, results. I think to be back in amongst the teams who are being competitive, and like my goal at the moment is to get Everton as competitive as I possibly can, and I mean by that trying to challenge nearer the top rather than nearer the bottom.
You know, the work you've done on the pitch, certainly at the first time at Everton, your success at West Ham has always been underpinned by strong values of hard work, ethic, togetherness, getting the best out of the players you have available. How important will that be for you right now, as you're saying, trying to get those results for the rest of this season?
Well, I think they're things which we're not going to change. You know, those parts can't change. You know, I don't know if you can win without them. You know, all the good teams have all those values. We want to do that, but we also want to add something to it as well. We know that we'll have to look to find ways at the moment of winning, because that is the word which we need to get results, and we'll do our best to do that. But I would hope that everybody who plays for Everton has got those values. We're not going to change our principles. We're going to keep working, make the players work hard, make sure the supporters here recognise that as well. Not everything goes right in football. It can't always be that way. But we've got to try and make more right than wrong between now and the end of the season.
Because there's talent in the squad, and you've proven time and time again in a long manager career that you can get the best out of players. So you look at that squad and think, you know, it's time to do it again.
Yeah, let's be fair. I'm sitting here as a manager, and I'm a bit older, a bit wiser, but you know, maybe we should be turning around and saying, hey, come on, you players, is it not about time you've had a few managers? Not about time we started to see you boys putting the work in as well. I'll always be protective of my players, and I'll never shirk away from that. But you know, there's points where they have to stand up and show what they're capable of if they've got that talent. So come on, if you've got the talent, then let's get it out, you know, and I'll try and squeeze everything I can out of them.
Going back to your first time at Everton, you saw your teams evolve quite a lot through the years. As you say, though, is this now about just getting results? Yeah,
like absolutely. Your questions are, if you want to go back, and this probably isn't a time really to look back. Maybe I will in other times, but we grew Everton small bit by bit. We didn't have much money to do it. We bought the best players we could from lower leagues mainly, and built them up. A lot of them went on to be super players and international players as well. It's a little bit different at the moment, you know. It's not quite as easy to do that. People want quicker success, and people don't want me waiting around another 11 years to get anything like success. So we have to find ways of doing it much quicker than we've done before. But again, unless you've got loads and loads of money to do it, you probably find that the only way you can do it is building it a little by little. I have to say, looking in from a distance, I think Everton have spent a lot of money in the past, and it's probably not worked. I don't know if this is the club that does need to build and does need to be progressive in how they do it, and there's certain types of players which suit the club. I'm not an expert in Everton, but I've got a great idea about what's required. So I hope that I can get it and build it. I don't think I'm going to be here for 11 years, but I think that I'm the right man at the moment to do the job and hopefully get us back on the right track and get us moving in the right direction.
And finally, as someone who's said many times about what makes Evertonians unique, what makes this such a big club, the fan base,
Yeah.
what's your message to Evertonians?
Well, you don't need me to say it again. You know, the people have now got to get us to the final stage. Now we've got to leave Goodison in the right way. Not everything can be perfect, but if we can get Goodison the way it was, I talk about when I watch Andy Gray's goal against Bayern Munich years ago. You know, I think about the nights we had. You know, Fiorentina night was one, for example. You know, some of the games we've had were under the lights this week against Aston Villa. So it would be a great opportunity for all the Evertonians to show how much it matters. Not so much about the manager, but what it feels to be at the club. We're on the verge of a change, and I know that they've had a few managers over time, but they also know that they're bringing somebody back who's got a great affection for the club and a love for the club, and I'll try and do all the right things between now and the end of the season to make sure we're a Premier League side.